I kind of like the idea of just playing Counter-Strike and having things like just Xbox, dude. He's at Xbox. He's over at Goose, and you're a new player to the game. You're like, what the heck is Goose? What does that even mean? We're going to talk about why I want Riot's FPS to be sloppy. Riot's FPS being Project A, codenamed right now. If you've never heard of the game, I have a lot of videos on it. Go watch them. But I think this was going to be an interesting discussion. I'm excited to get into it. Let's get started here, okay? I included the picture of the best game to ever exist right here, by the way, Viva Pinata. So that's what that's about. The pressure to create the ultimate game. That's Viva Pinata. People want Project A to be like the FPS game. People are excited for Riot Games to release this game, and they just want it to be completely perfect. They want the tick rate to be fixed. They want no cheaters and stuff like that. Riot is promising to stop cheaters. Cheaters are bad. I don't think that like cheaters should be in the game. That's not what I'm arguing here. I think that any attempt to get rid of people who are hacking in the game and making it worse for everyone else, that is perfect. That is not what I mean by sloppy. Games keep getting better and better is the thing that I'm saying. And as games get better and better, eventually you run out with like some of like the kinks with games. You know, sometimes it's fun when a game is just released and it's super like weird and like sloppy. I remember playing games like PUBG and my car would just freaking explode out of nowhere. And although it was frustrating, and that's frustrating if that happens very frequently, every now and then it's just really funny. It's something that's memorable. Most people who've played PUBG remember driving around in their vehicle and it just explodes and you're like, wow, cool. Like, let's queue into the next game. That's a memorable experience, and that's something that sticks out to you with games. Before we get into this talk, by the way, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. I have to say this again. I've said this like 3 times on stream already. But for anybody who's watching this on YouTube, click the button down below, like the video, and go brush your teeth or something like that. Take care of yourself. Hygiene's good. We're going to talk about the games that we used to love to play, though, dude. Games like freaking Modern Warfare 2. Like, this game was not perfect when we played it. It's the game that everyone loved. It was like 1v1 me on Rust, nerd, right? But quick scoping was not probably not like the best feature to ever be in games, right? And I'm pretty sure quick scoping was probably a thing in like prior games, but I remember very vividly quick scoping was like a massive thing in Modern Warfare 2 and like then on, right? Throwing knives and riot shields. You remember that people would walk around with freaking riot shields and they just throwing knife you and there's like nothing you could do about it, really? That was like incredibly frustrating. It's like that's probably not good for the game, but it's like that's what I used to do. I used to carry my throwing knife or my C4 and I would just chuck the C4 at them and explode it. Stuff like that. Freaking helicopters, dude. You got the kill streak, like just flying around, shooting people. You remember walking around outside and you just die over and over and over again for no reason in Modern Warfare 2? It's like, yeah, these are balance mechanics, dude. No, it doesn't. Sometimes balance doesn't really matter. Just because like Modern Warfare 2 was one of the like favorite games of a lot of people, doesn't mean it's balanced. Doesn't mean it at all. Early League of Legends, dude. When I used to play early League, and they had all these characters like AP Scion or AP Master E walking around just one-shotting people, AP Master E will one-shot an entire team. You'd have Tiamat Fiora, who would just ulti, and then like everyone would just die. And it's just like, dude, these things were fun. These are the things that stick out to me. This is like the golden ages of League of Legends. When I think back to Season 3 and my ability, I would play Rumble, I would play Mordekaiser, and I 1v5. Stuff like that is like really cool. And then they like slowly started to remove them. And as they started to remove all these things, the game like suddenly it's still fun, but it's not the same type of fun. Like it's not the same amount of memorable. I can't pick out a lot of recent memories in League of Legends where I'm like, dude, like that was broken and it was awesome and I loved it. Like it doesn't really stick out like that anymore. And then lastly, and this is I think most or more recent, things like Classic WoW versus Modern World of Warcraft. Hypothetically speaking, Modern World of Warcraft should be a better game. And, like, that just goes to show that, like, dude, people don't always like better. Like, they've taken Classic WoW and they've improved upon it for years upon years upon years. They have all of those quality of life things. This is what they were saying when people were like, we want Classic WoW. And they were like, no, you don't. Like, this is what they were saying. What they're saying is that Classic WoW, as a game before, wasn't that good. It's very nostalgic and like it has some cool things, but like after playing Classic WoW recently, dude, there's like 4 classes in the game. You could play a warrior if you're a tank, you could play a mage, you could play a shaman, and you could play like a paladin, dude. Like there's not a lot of other things that you could do, it feels like. And it's just that just goes to show that, like, I don't know. I think I prefer Modern WoW, where it's like you can play pretty much any class to like a decent capacity. I think that's a good thing. But like still, people think back to Classic WoW, where they're like, dude, Classic WoW was like that was like it, you know. Realism in video games. This is something that we could talk about. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. If anybody played that, I played a lot of PUBG when it was on release. Like I was talking about earlier, like my card just exploding. Probably not a great thing, but like as PUBG got more and more realistic, I noticed that PUBG got less and less fun for me. When you stop seeing as many bugs and stuff like that, you suddenly have it be like just a little bit less goofy. It just like it became a game. It became like super competitive. It became kind of like not to really compare the two, but Escape from Tarkov. Where Escape from Tarkov is a fun game, but it's very niche. It's very niche. Escape from Tarkov blew up on Twitch recently because like of the whole drop thing and like everyone was playing it. But the problem is Escape from Tarkov cannot stay as a massive game because it's so freaking realistic and so hard. It's just so niche. Like when I go into Tarkov, I enjoy it because I'm kind of a hardcore gamer. But I can also recognize that it's not the kind of stress level that I want all of the freaking time. I don't want to have to be walking around worrying that I'm going to die from a headshot like at any point in time and I'm going to lose like all of my stuff. That's not always fun to me. It's fun at some points of time, but it's like sometimes I just want to play Fortnite and run around and build walls everywhere and like just dick around, dude. Like that's okay. I think that's allowed. It's like when people talk about movies, right? And you watch a movie and somebody like points out like a flaw in it. So you're watching John Wick or something, and John Wick's going around like popping everybody in the head. He's like throwing katanas and stuff in that one scene. I think it was knives or whatever. But and people are like, well, actually, that would be like really difficult to do for like a human, you know, stuff like that. I'm just like, dude, I just watched this movie to watch John Wick like just throw knives at people. You know, that's all I freaking wanted. I don't need to go into a game and have it be as realistic as possible. Sometimes I just want it to be goofy. Sometimes you just want a goofy game. And I recognize that some games are just going to be goofy, but I don't think that it needs to be perfect, is what I'm saying. We have a next slide. Okay, this whole discussion, this last like 10 minutes, this whole rant, it was started because I was reading on the Project Day Discord, and somebody was talking about callouts, and they wanted determined callouts in the game, right? They wanted people to like, they wanted the devs to have like each thing listed, and whenever you go around the map, it tells you where you're at and what to call out. You know, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I kind of like the idea of just playing Counter-Strike and having things like just Xbox, dude. He's at Xbox. He's over at Goose, and you're a new player to the game. You're like, what the heck is Goose? What does that even mean? Why is that not a thing that can exist? Why can't we just let the community like figure out these things? Why do we need every single little thing to be determined by the devs? Why do the devs need to figure out the meta? Why do they need to figure out the callouts and stuff like that? Obviously, the things that they implement into the game is going to shape the meta. I understand that. But I'm just saying, like, I don't think that every little thing needs to be controlled by the devs. I think that if you have an off-meta build, like in my AP Master Yi, I think that should be, like, an okay thing that is allowed. And I don't think the devs should remove it from the game. I think they should look at it and be like, okay, how can we make this work? And I think that they probably did that in League, and they probably like, came to the conclusion that, like, we can't make this work. But I don't know, dude. It bums me out. I miss my characters, is all I'm saying. I miss them. I'm a big baby, I know. Defined callouts are probably better for competitive. I get it. Having the callouts so like players can like improve faster, it probably makes sense. But is it better as a community? I don't know if it necessarily is. Don't tell me how to play the game. I don't want to be told how to play the game. Don't tell me how to build a character. Don't tell me what callout is what. I want to figure things out for myself. That's what I want. I hated when I was playing PUBG and I would have my gun and like I was using like an AK for a really long time or whatever. An AK is a strong gun, but it has like really bad recoil. And people were like, "Hey, don't use the AK. It's bad." And I'm just like, dude. Why is it gotta be bad? I hate it when me and Boredom would run around with a crossbow, right? And we would try to kill people with a crossbow, and it was very clearly just like a bad weapon. But I don't want to get flamed for doing things that are perceived as bad in the game. That's not something that I want. Let me just figure them out. Why can't I play my Evelyn and just have fun with it and enjoy it? Why does it have to be like, oh, this character's bad and then updated? I was the crossbow god. I know we were. I remember one specific clip. Me and Jordan just kept popping out, and we were crossbowing people in like a window, and we downed these guys like 3 or 4 times, and then we got wiped because the crossbow was not a good gun. But just like things like that, or it's like those are the memories that you have. These are the things. These are the specific things in these games that I remember. And it like the game. Yeah, obviously the crossbow is a bad weapon. Maybe it should have been removed. Maybe it was just like crap, and they should have like removed it or like made it better or something like that. But that shitty crossbow was it created way more memories for me than just like the super strong like AK-47 or the Scar 98 or what is it, a 98? I don't know what the Scar is, but I don't need you to tell me how to play the game. Let me figure it out for myself. That's all I want. That's all I want. Give me the game in its entirety, and if I start no scoping people as Juno, dashing in their faces and like barrel stuffing them with an op because there's gonna be mobility in the game. If I start doing that, I don't want it to get removed. Like in the moment that people are like, "This is broken, dude," just let them figure it out. Let them figure it out, dude. It'll be okay. This video is gonna get downvoted to all hell. People are gonna be like, "You're an idiot," and that's okay. Things will happen naturally. Things like the meta, it'll happen naturally. Economy happens naturally. Character builds happen naturally. Team compositions, they happen naturally, dude. People will figure out what works. They'll adapt to it, and it'll happen. And the communities that are formed, this all happens just naturally. There's the Project A community right now. It's a Discord server. You can join it if you want. They're really cool. That'll happen because people are excited about the game. People created this community. People create YouTube channels like this and talk about stupid stuff. It all happens. It just happens. You don't need to force it. I think that's the whole talk. Let me know what you think. Do you disagree? Probably. I think a lot of people are going to disagree with this one. But let me know in the comments below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I do a lot of Project A stuff. We've talked about it before. I'm the #1 Project A content creator on the internet because I am the only one. So you can hit us up there. It'd be really cool. And let your mother know that you love her. She deserves to hear it. Love you guys. Okay. Thanks again.